Lake can't fire VOA director, NPR. A federal judge has blocked Trump administration official Kari Lake from firing Voice of America director Michael Abramowitz. The judge ruled that Lake's actions violate the law, which requires the approval of a congressional advisory panel before such a removal can occur. Since President Trump dismissed most of this panel and hasn't appointed replacements, Lake lacks the legal authority to dismiss Abramowitz. The judge's decision also deemed illegal Lake's attempt to reassign Abramowitz to a lower-level position. The ruling comes amidst broader efforts by the Trump administration to significantly curtail Voice of America's operations, including slashing language services and laying off staff. This has resulted in a dramatic reduction in the network's programming and original content. Lake, citing the Trump administration's authority, vowed to appeal the decision. The judge, however, rejected the government's arguments based on executive powers, citing Supreme Court precedent and explicitly noting that Congress had allocated funds for the agency with specific stipulations. He also deemed Lake's actions a waste of taxpayer money. The judge's ruling highlights a legal battle over the independence of Voice of America and the extent of executive power in controlling federally funded international broadcasters. Congress passed legislation in 2020 to protect the network from political interference, a measure directly challenged by the Trump administration's actions.
In our next story, Cowboys trade Micah Parsons to Packers following messy contract dispute with Jerry Jones. Micah Parsons, the star edge rusher for the Dallas Cowboys, has been traded to the Green Bay Packers in a blockbuster deal. The Packers sent 2 first-round draft picks, 2026 and 2027, and defensive tackle Kenny Clark to acquire Parsons. This trade comes after a tumultuous summer where Parsons publicly demanded a trade due to a stalled contract extension with the Cowboys. He expressed frustration over the lack of progress in negotiations with owner Jerry Jones. Despite the public drama, Parsons remained with the team throughout training camp. Parsons will now sign a 4-year, $188 million contract with the Packers, making him the highest-paid non-quarterback in NFL history. This significantly surpasses the previous record held by T.J. Watt. The trade ends a tense standoff between Parsons and the Cowboys, leaving Dallas without a key defensive player and marking another instance of a high-profile player leaving the team after contract negotiations failed. The Cowboys and Packers will face each other on September 28.
In our next story, Micah Parsons traded by Cowboys to Packers, gets record contract. 4-time Pro Bowl edge rusher Micah Parsons has been traded from the Dallas Cowboys to the Green Bay Packers in a blockbuster deal. In exchange for Parsons, the Cowboys received 3-time Pro Bowl defensive tackle Kenny Clark and 2 first-round draft picks. Parsons signed a 4-year, $188 million contract with the Packers, making him the highest-paid non-quarterback in NFL history. The trade comes after a contentious contract negotiation and a trade request from Parsons. The trade marks the end of what was once considered a long-term relationship between Parsons and the Cowboys. Parsons previously stated his desire to play his entire career in Dallas, but contract disagreements and a lack of progress in negotiations ultimately led to the trade request. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones initially stated that the team wouldn't trade Parsons, but the Packers' offer proved too enticing to refuse. The Packers are hoping Parsons will significantly improve their pass rush, which has struggled in recent seasons. They haven't had a player reach double-digit sacks since Parsons entered the league. This trade is a major gamble for the Packers, but they are banking on Parsons' exceptional talent to elevate their defense to a Super Bowl contender. The Cowboys, meanwhile, acquire Clark and valuable draft picks to rebuild their defensive line, a significant loss given Parsons' exceptional production over the past 4 seasons. While they retain other pass rushers on their roster, filling Parsons' considerable shoes will be a significant challenge.
In our next story, LA teen is moved out of state by ICE without parents' knowledge. 18-year-old Benjamin Guerrero Cruz, a student at Reseda Charter High School, was detained by immigration agents in Los Angeles while walking his dog. Days before his senior year was set to begin, his family was shocked by his arrest for overstaying his visa. The situation worsened when ICE transferred him to Arizona without notifying his family. Subsequently, Guerrero Cruz faced another unexpected transfer to Louisiana, a major deportation hub, before being returned to Adelanto Detention Facility in California. This erratic movement sparked outrage, with Congresswoman Luz Rivas issuing a statement demanding answers and introducing a bill mandating ICE to notify families within 24 hours of a detainee's transfer. A Department of Homeland Security official defended ICE's actions, stating Guerrero Cruz was being prepared for removal and that detainees and their attorneys are notified of transfers. However, an immigration attorney disputed this, highlighting difficulties families face in tracking transfers due to outdated online locators and delays in official notifications. The frequent and seemingly arbitrary transfers of detainees across the country have raised concerns about the fairness and transparency of the immigration process, with critics arguing the practice creates unnecessary hardship and hinders access to legal representation. The situation underscores broader issues surrounding ICE detention policies and the challenges faced by immigrant families.
In our next story, Cracker Barrel quietly removes Day in Pride pages from its website after logo upheaval. Cracker Barrel quietly removed its dedicated Pride page and references to its LGBTQ+ and Day employee resource groups from its website this week. This follows intense backlash from right-wing influencers over a controversial logo rebrand, which the company ultimately reversed. The company claims the website changes simply reflect the removal of outdated content. A spokesperson stated that the changes to the business resource groups now focus sponsorships and events on corporate giving initiatives, such as addressing food insecurity and reducing food waste. The removal of the Pride page and Day mentions comes after social media pressure from prominent anti-Day influencers, who celebrated the changes as a victory. The controversy surrounding the logo and the subsequent website changes unfolded rapidly, even reaching the Oval Office where President Trump voiced his opinion on the logo redesign. This latest development adds another layer to the ongoing challenges faced by Cracker Barrel, which has seen its stock price decline significantly over the past 5 years. The website adjustments, coupled with the logo reversal, highlight the sensitive nature of corporate branding and social responsibility in today's highly polarized climate, particularly for companies facing financial difficulties.